What is going on, everyone? Welcome into Big Time Football Talk. Thank you guys so much for all the awesome comments and the likes and the make sure, giving me a great discussion to talk about in the recent videos, the Jim Harbaugh video, LSU videos. You guys have been great with all the likes and the positive feedback. I appreciate it. It means the world to me. So I want to get into this. I want to continue to talk about the 2021 NFL Draft. I think this is a really fun topic to get into, and I want to start with my personal top wide receivers for the 2021 NFL Draft, starting with JaMarr Chase, wide receiver from LSU. JaMarr Chase, 1,780 yards receiving last year, 20 touchdowns. New quarterback this year, but JaMarr Chase likely still the go-to guy. Todd McShay has him as his number 2 prospect on his board. Mel Kiper, I believe, has him as his number 3 prospect. But in my case, for me, he comes in at my number 1 wide receiver. And for Kiper and Todd McShay, he comes in at their number 1 as well. JaMarr Chase, the guy that it's not set in stone yet, obviously, because things can change next year, but likely JaMarr Chase, talent-wise, with size, speed, hands, the collection of that talent will likely keep him at the number 1 spot. The next guy is a guy that'll be a senior in 2020 now, is Alabama wide receiver Devante Smith. Devante Smith, some of the best hands in college football, just a great pass-catching wide receiver, very shifty, is a great route runner also. Does a great job of getting open, even though he doesn't have necessarily like elite speed. You saw when he matched up with Derek Stingley, had trouble beating him deep, but he was able to pitter-patter and was able to get open on some slants and underneath routes in that LSU game. So Devante Smith, a guy that's been productive at Alabama for several years. So he's been coached up well, great hands, does a lot of things well. I don't think he'll be... Problem with Devante Smith is people don't think he'll be like an elite guy in the NFL. He's like to think he'll be a high floor, be one of those guys that has a solid career, but they don't know if he has some of the elite potential, like the elite athleticism, like the speed. But Devante Smith, because of production and skill set, comes in number 2. His teammate comes in at number 3, Jalen Waddle. Jalen Waddle is blazing fast, a guy that we talked about in this podcast too, likely could run in the 4.2s. Last year he had, 14 touchdowns to go along with a good amount of yardage. I'd like to see what Jalen Waddle does next year when he's the number 1 target. He's getting a little bit tougher coverage, but Jalen Waddle, a ton of talent, likely could be the second receiver off the board. I think Kiper has him as his number 2 guy off the board. But Jalen Waddle, definitely a name to watch, because you see a lot of those guys that run those fast 40 times, they really rise in draft stock after that happens. So look for Jalen Waddle next year at the Combine. He's a guy that all eyes will be on Waddle in the 2021 Combine, but the talent is there for Waddle. Just want to see him do it one more time, But the next guy on the list is Rashad Bateman. Rashad Bateman has some of the best hands I've seen in a wide receiver coming out of college in recent years. Makes contested catches in coverage, out of coverage, a great deep threat. Bateman really looks like a pro wide receiver last year. Wasn't even in Minnesota last year, had another wide receiver that was very decorative career too, and Bateman kind of stole the show and became Morgan's almost go-to guy for Minnesota last year, but just makes spectacular catches in traffic. Has just a lot of the skills you're looking for an NFL receiver. So Rashad Bateman from Minnesota heads into his I forget what year he's going to be, but Bateman, definitely a guy to watch out for. Number 5 is Amon-Ra St. Brown. I know a lot of people have Amon-Ra St. Brown lower on their list, but Brown is a very talented kid. Super competitive. His brother played for the Green Bay Packers. Equinemius St. Brown also played at Notre Dame a couple years back. Amon-Ra St. Brown, I love his competitiveness. I think if he goes to a good team, he'll really excel. If he goes to a poor team, it could be an up and down thing. But obviously he can excel in any situation, but is a guy that could really... I had him in my latest mock draft, I think. Was it going 32nd to the Chiefs? I believe, if he goes to a good team like that, that could really just put him over the top, because he's a guy that you just don't want to cover. Great rounder and super competitive. When the ball's in the air, he's a guy that just wants to go up and get it. So Amon-Ra St. Brown. And I'll throw in some notable guys. Nico Collins from the University of Michigan. Love Nico Collins. Great deep ball guy. He's a guy that really will go up and get it. So Nico Collins returns to Michigan for his senior year next year. Some also notable guys. Ronnie Bell, another guy from Michigan. Who else? Trying to think of some other guys I could throw in the mix. But, I think I'm going to wrap it there. Thanks for tuning in to Big Time Football Talk. Stay tuned for the latest clips from Big Time Football Talk. Until next time, peace.